Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? A whole 17 people in here for Wu-Tang. Oh, it's 15, never mind. I appreciate it so much. How is everybody doing? Please let me know if you can hear me and I sound clear and all of that good stuff before we get into this episode. Let me read a couple comments here. Thank you for everybody who showed up. Wu-Tang is for the children, especially this episode, like for real. Liquid Swords episode all the way. I didn't see it yet. What you doing up in here? Go have me spoil everything for you. You need to go watch it. I really would like for you to be surprised and go watch the episode. Hey girl, yes. See who else is here. I'm telling you, Wu-Tang is for the children. Hello. Y'all love calling me Tara. Still struggling these days. I'm always struggling every single day. And it's Tyra with a Y. But thank you for being here, Joseph, per usual. Hey, honey. All right. I'm just going to add this to the stream real quick. How did y'all feel about the show? Personally, I liked it. I liked it. I was not mad at this episode. I was pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed it and how well I thought it was going. I liked this episode. How did you guys feel about it? It was, I still, have that bittersweet taste of I wish we were, where I wish we were, but I was not mad at this in comparison to the other Allegory episodes that we got. I just didn't know how they were going to handle this with the ODB episode, which I thought, was a good episode, along with Built for Cuban Links episode. It felt like they had a really difficult time incorporating the story along with the album, the songs, like just building the little world building for the Allegory to relate to the album in general. I think they did an awesome job here, and it was like perfection the way that it was put together. What about y'all? How was y'all feeling about this episode? I liked it, and I was here for all the jizza. See, they need to come on. We only have 2 more episodes. Man, look. Kyla, there is no more coming on to be like, this is it. Like, I solely was sitting contemplating whether or not I wanted to even talk about this episode and like not just drop the show altogether, because I'm like low key really disappointed. I'm really disappointed. I think everybody's expectations were so high, especially if you love the group, as far as what we were going to get this season with it being the last season. And we just have to accept that it's not going to be that. But be that as it may, I like this episode. Let me see. My favorite episode this season, love the Allegory. It was honestly pretty biblical. Yeah, all of that, Tiffany. All of that. Let's see. I think this has to be my favorite album era episode. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. I was into this episode like I wasn't watching it at work. You always doing something at work. Great episode, but it's crazy that we only have 2 episodes left. Yeah, that is really insane to think about, but I was really and with this episode, I was like, this is good. I was really getting into it. It just felt really well. Let me go on, take my man Jizza on off of here, and we can get into the Wu-Tang of it all. Like, let me put this here. No, that's too big. There we go. So, y'all, we start off with this episode. Like, I just love the energy in this episode. And I was like, why is this episode so different from the other Allegory album episodes that we got? Why do I like this one so much more? It's because this episode was written and directed by Rizza himself. And I was like, who better to do it? He should have been there for the ODB episode, as well as the Built for Cuban Links criminology, whatever episode. He should have been there the entire time. Like, this episode felt so grounded and so good and so well put together because RZA did it. Like, who better to do it than the person who was there to be a part of everything, from the group members to the albums? He knows, I was like, why you ain't been doing everything? What you been doing all this time? Like, but I just thought that he did a really wonderful job here, and it explained why everybody's just low key feeling like, oh, this was really good. This is maybe my favorite episode. Like, it's because of RZA. RZA was the man with the plan. Let's see. This season is definitely the best Allegory episode, but I still think Divine's episode was the best this season. Yeah, I love the episodes that, were grounded in where we thought we would be with the show for majority of the time. But just with this being an Allegory episode, I was all prepared to be disappointed. I was like, here we go. I was not at all, even a little bit, feeling the criminology episode. I was just so ready to be done with the series altogether. But this episode kind of low key woke me back up, honestly. I sat up in my chair just a little bit. I think Rizza did a really good job, as well as our lead actor here who portrays Jizza. I think his name is Jonelle Young. He was really selling it for me. Let's see. If only they did an Allegory episode for Takao, but honestly, Method Man ain't been much this season. He must have said, get somebody else to do it. Absolutely. And we're going to get into Method Man's presence in this episode. Takao, like, that would have been fire because I think that was the album that performed the best, in my opinion, out of everybody's. Like that first one to come out the gate. So you would think that they would do an allegory for that one. But if you're not here, what are we doing an allegory for? Like, child. But we get into good old Jizza here. Like, the lights are out and it's dark in the Wu-Tang mansion. It look real eerie. And we have Divine here pressuring him yet again. Like, where is the album? We can't wait around on Wu-Tang for everybody to get together for, your ideal album. We need it and we need it today. Jizza is not trying to budge, not even for a little bit. We really get into the sensation of not only the man separating, but them venturing off into collaborations with R&B, kind of the fantasy, Mariah Carey. Even when you get into Method Man and Mary J. Blige, he feels like the hip hop and what they represent, like that pure hip hop, it is getting watered down, and he doesn't want his album to be any of that. I'm not trying to be commercialized. I'm not trying to appeal to anybody. I just want to do a real, purebred hip hop album, and you not finna talk me down off of that bridge. I was absolutely here for it. I was here for it. I even like the fact that he had so much time to even contemplate. Like, I swear, for the past 3 episodes, it's been, so where's the album? Where's the album, Jizza? And he keeps pushing it back. I don't even think musicians now have the ability to say what, like, no, you need it out. Like, it's just so much pressure. So for him to just be able to create and develop and take his sweet time with this album, it shows, where we are now as far as music, because you don't get that no more. You are a part of the machine. We need the album and we need it today. But I like the fact that Divine was like, all right, you mean what you said. And then when you said that the lights came back on in the house, I mean, we have to get it done. But it's also a little smirk with him saying, okay, we're going to do it, but let me see how you're going to manage to get everybody, all the Wu-Tang who can't even come together for their own music, to jump on your album. Like, okay, well, I'll wait on it. He did it. He absolutely did it. Let's see. Liquid Sword album, no skips. Absolutely no skips. It's such a good album. I love the way that they incorporated it into this episode. I was like, Rizza, where were you for the criminology episode? Because you needed to be outside. You was missing when we needed you. They trying to make my man Divine have a stroke out here. I still ain't over the last episode. I just know his phone bill was sky high. Man, I was happy to see my man's get a break here. Even when you get into the corporate side with Divine, he is still just strictly doing his job. I'm a part of management. There are demands, on my end. I just love that there's, give and take and push and pull. Even though they're family, I'm going to respect it. I'm going to wait. You want more time? You need another week? Come on. And even like the idea of, okay, I'll give you another week to get it. Like the verses that were laid down for Jizza's album in a week. What? Damn. Like, we don't get, like, most of them, I think, from Ghostface to Method Man, when you get into Shadowboxing, Fourth Chambers, Duel with the Iron Mike, like a lot of these are their like the best verses of some of their careers, in my opinion. Like it was hella fire. So just to know that they came in and laid that down in a week's time, maybe, incredible. I love this face here. He's like, I'm over it, and don't ask me again. Now we also just pretty much have him put these headphones on and we go inside of Jizza's mind and it turns into a cinematic experience, child. And I was like, wow, the production. The production was absolutely crazy. That's the one thing that I gave the criminology episode credit for, or even ODBs. The production has been on point. But here, it really blended well with the theme of the album. Getting into Jizza's album, the backdrop for a plethora, if not all the songs, especially the beginning and the interludes to these songs, are those OG kung fu martial arts 1960s, 70s kung fu movies that they love to reference so much, all the way down to Built for Cuban Links and him being influenced by, the likes of a Scarface. It's really it matches for him to be here in this type of element. And I also was looking, I was like, where does little baby in this wheelchair tie into the story? And once they showed his face, I was like, oh, this is Dennis's brother. I was sitting there looking for a minute. I was just so out of it because it's been a long time since we've seen the both of them together, let alone the way that we see them separate in the show. I think we've seen the other brother in the ODB episode, and now we have him here. I'm glad that even though the story has pushed further and they didn't have to incorporate them or put them in the storyline, but they made sure that they did. I think that's nice. I think that's so cool. And he was good here in this episode. Let's see. The reason this episode was good was because RZA, yeah. RZA wasn't going to do his cousin Jizza wrong. The bias was strong in this episode. Oh man, don't kill it. You think that's the reason this episode was so good? Like, man, if that is the case, that's trash. That is absolutely trash. Like, if you weren't, want to step in and do the entirety of the series, if you wanted to just step in for the Allegory episodes, I would have been here for that because this episode was bomb and you could tell the difference. Oh, Lord. Really biased. Like, oh man, just killed all my little hoop dreams with that comment. Either way, he rocked it. I wish he would have rocked it for everybody else's. But we get into what I feel like was supposed to be a representation for Brooklyn, just New York in general. We are, on this conquest to put the Wu-Tang members back together. Of course, they have their own little names here. But the production was just good. I was like, RZA is outside. I don't know why. I just assume with RZA being a writer, being a director, that's me now doing my due diligence for the show and really looking at who was doing the writing and the directing. He hasn't really touched anything about this episode. Let me go back to this comment. I believe it to be true. I mean, yeah, this is the only episode that he touched in the entirety of this season. Everything else was designated to, the likes of other people, which was fine. Some of these episodes were really good, but I just thought it was weird that he only touched this episode. Let's see. I didn't watch the episode yet. I'm surprised you seem to enjoy it. With it being another Allegory joint, I'll watch it later though. Absolutely bowling for clarity. You will be surprised. RZA did his thing in this episode. It was actually good. Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. Hey, B. It's Brandon with Just My Opinion. You guys go and check out his channel. He does a little bit of everything over there. Let's see. I still like Raekwon movie episode. I don't care. It was fire to me. I mean, it's okay. Everybody gets one. It's okay. It is absolutely okay. Let's see. I like the production of this episode as well. The budget was most definitely budgeting. Like, I'm telling you, I was like, the world building in this episode is everything. We just got to traveling and went on, and it was different sets and costume change. I was like, okay, we showed up when we needed to, right? But we have entered Jizza's mind, and he is going to put everybody back together. This episode was a lot deeper than I expected it to be for an Allegory, Jizza's album. It was a lot of symbolic things happening with just not even the state of hip hop culture here in like the mid 90s, but even when we're getting into now, when we get into Shuri being locked away and was you God in jail? Before I go on, was you God in jail when RZA was working on his album, because that would explain or give me a decent enough excuse as to why he was locked away with Shuri instead of being, conquested with the likes of everybody else. Was You God in jail? Because I was like, y'all just go, You God just was in there with Shuri. Like, we don't need to go find You God. You God was literally locked away until somebody came to free them and connect those chambers back together. Does anybody know if You God was in jail? I would love to know. Oh man, said I don't know. Like, was he in jail? Because I thought it was a choice that You God wasn't being sought out. He was not being sought out. But we get into Master Killer here. Like, I had to look at Master Killer like twice because I was like, is that Power? I just knew this was Power. I don't know what happened. Ever since Master Killer then took off the hoods and the hats, he looks like Power's other brother. Like, let me see. Okay. He was in jail when they were working on the 36 chambers. That's why he wasn't on the album fully. But you mean the Wu-Tang album? Like, what about GZA's album? Was he in jail right now for this? Was he in jail right now for this? Because it just didn't make any sense to me that he wouldn't have been sought out like the other members. Like, we need to collect everybody. Was he? I don't remember him being on the Liquid album. Let's see. You God is on the album. He does the hook for investigative reports. He does. So why my man's wasn't? Oh, you know what? I'm leaving alone because RZA did. RZA was over this episode, and you know how he feels about You God. So maybe he said, "Yeah, lock that nigga away." But I just love the whole theme here, him having a daughter. Like, the production was just on point. I feel like we were going so far, the whole Saki situation, and it's just like, my brother, I'm here on a quest to put, the members back together, find everyone, open up those chambers. Are you coming with me? And it's just like, you are just as woke and knowledgeable as far as hip hop, what this means as the next person. What's the use in having that and being in here sitting on it? You need to come on. Even with them getting into the stations and the music, and it's just like, this is the last station that plays real true hip-hop. I was like, this episode would have had so much more significance if hip-hop hadn't lost its way so long ago. Just this whole quest to save hip-hop, and I'm like, damn, it's gone. Like, we get into this time clock, and we see the golden era of hip-hop. You see all of these little messages as far as people who were influential in hip-hop. I think you saw like Raz Effects and MF Doom and all these names being thrown in as the people who are trying to keep that thread strong. I'm like, that is like non-existent now. And it said, I think in 2024, like, hip-hop is deaded. Oh god, RZA knew what was happening. RZA absolutely knew what was happening. Oh man, let's see. Now he was on RZA's album, damn near everybody. Well, what? Okay, you know what? It may have just been a theatrical choice. Maybe we didn't want Shuri in there by herself. I don't know. Plus, You God was on Ray's album. Look up the joint called Knuckleheads. Then why they lock my boy away? Why he couldn't be sought out with everybody else? I don't appreciate how they've been treating You God in the show. But yeah, I just love them coming together as brothers. Janelle Young here as RZA was just really selling it here for me in this episode. I love Shuri and the Afro puffs and the style and the whole thing. It was very much giving Y2K. Them being locked away, like low-key waiting for doomsday. Like, if we don't, I love the way that they were sending the subliminal messages. Shuri was rhyming over the microphone. I was like, bar, Shuri. You God ain't that damn special. I did not say that. You God, I mean, hey, I've never heard anybody say, my favorite member of Wu-Tang is You God. Be that as it may, he could have definitely, got better treatment this episode. I automatically assumed that I was like, oh, he must have been locked up. Maybe he was in jail. Maybe he's not as featured on the album. Why is he in here locked up with Shuri? But whatever. But you have them in here just really dropping hints and notes to help them, reconnect. This episode was like hella layered. I was like really surprised. I was like, who wrote this? Who wrote this and who's been writing everything else? I think the show would have really benefited from Jizza pushing his pen and doing a little bit more with it, because if you did all of this with one episode, what could you have done with the show? We might be further than 1995. God, I'm so sick of us being in 95. Oh man. But yeah, everybody is just like low key trying to put everybody together and on the quest to find freaking Bobby. Bobby has been up on a hill. He never came down. Like the state of hip hop is just on a whole decline. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to lose my way. We're going to get into freaking Inspector Deck losing his way, running around looking like Splinter. I was like, what? Inspector Deck had me rolling this episode. I was absolutely rolling. That walk was back where he be jigging when he walk. Oh man, you God ain't that damn special. Yeah, I really like this clock here as to say where hip hop started, where it's going. You have dates and times for everything, and then we're getting out of the golden era of hip hop. Like the 90s are about to be over, and it's about the commercialism of hip hop. Hip hop is being turned into absolute pop. This is not, what we got into it for, especially not an artist like Jizza. Like, I'm here to inform and remind people what hip hop really means and what it can do for people. Like, I'm trying to wake my people up. We can't be Mariah Carey fantasy all the time. Like, ain't none of that on my album. It made me think about ODB too, because he was really giving heavy pushback. Even though I was mad at him and how he was treating treating Divine, he was giving that pushback as to say, I'm really not feeling doing the collaboration with Mariah. A lot of these dudes are, hood, heavy hip hop New York dudes. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. But that's what sells, and that's what these record labels want, and that's what we're pushing for. But you would understand why he wouldn't want to do it, even though I'm the only one singing on my album. Like, I need $1 million. I need some more ODB in the episodes. Oh man. Yeah, y'all. I wasn't gonna get on here. I was gonna make a post and just be like, y'all, I don't want to talk about the show no more. I see y'all for something else. Like, yeah, Shuri was spitting the good old Fourth and Broadway, and we are trying to reconnect. Him just following, using those contact clues. Like, I swear this episode felt about 2 hours long. Was this episode longer than all the other episodes? I felt like it had to be. Deck was like tripping me out here. Who braided the hair? Who made that choice for Inspector Deck? I love that it was kind of giving this apocalypto type feel and just devastation, and things were just breaking down, and they're in these ruins. He's lost his way, and hence the hair. It was funny, but I just loved all of he was giving like evil Bond villain this episode. I was like, is he gonna turn on them? Is he evil? but but I just love the interaction that he has with just as to say, like, still incorporating the fact that he left the house last episode, and it's like, no man, I'm coming to find you. I know you're feeling some type of way about just, not even the state of hip hop, but the fact that you haven't been able to do your own album. We still need you. Like, yeah, all right, nigga. Let's see, I liked it, but he looking very zesty. Hey, I try to, with there not being a whole bunch of promotion for this show, there are not a ton of pictures when these shows are released. You take what you can. Maybe this little snapshot is a little zesty. Oh Lord, let's see. Episode 9 is going to be about Ghostface. It reflects on sacrifices of his past while dealing with the bittersweet outcomes of his artistic success. Yeah, I read the little thumbnail too. The little plot in the synopsis. I read both of them because they put them up for that one, and I was like, wow, so we just go in, don't triumph. All right, well, whatever. But we completely wake him up out of his slumber, and it's just like everybody in these slums are in this slumber because all of this garbage has been, pushed out of the radios all the time, forcing them to conform. And it's just like we're poisoning our people with this trash ass music. Like, I need everybody to wake up and get a little conscious as to what hip hop stands for and what we are supposed to be doing with our music, with our community, all of that good stuff. And I was here for it. I was here for it. Let me leave before you say this pitch is zesty. Them plats over there zesty. Like, I don't know what's happening. Now we have our mass villain here. This episode was just so freaking good. He's here, and it's just like, you know what? I ain't messing with none of that. I need everybody to stay in line. I don't need you to try to connect and open up these chambers and wake everybody up. We need everybody to consume, buy, accept, and stay down. Why are you trying to lift people up with positive, influential hip hop? Niggas, shut up. I like the little villain here. I like that he represents just record execs and managers and people who are trying to just go for the deals and go for the money. And it's like, you know what? I'm not about that. His sole mission here is to stop him from connecting these chambers and waking people up. I like the mask too. Like everything was just good. I just really wish Rizza would have popped out at least 2 other times in this episode. Oh gosh. Yeah, the mask, the design here. I thought it would have been cool if one of the members was under here, but that defeats the purpose of the episode. I just want to see more of everybody, because I liked how the conquest here and all of these guys being put together and them going into this amusement park, and you hear fantasy, and it's a callback to not only hip hop kind of losing its way and somebody like ODB being commercialized at this point. ODB was being featured on a whole lot of stuff then, and it was just like we're just losing. Like, Jesus, I ain't fucking with none of that. We not supposed to be here. But we are at this point kind of looking for ODB, at which we have these baddies roll up, all of this corruption. It was very much giving the Wiz and the Poppy Fields, like, drink this and pass out. I just liked all of it, and just not even that, but just what a lot of these executives or managers are willing to do just to keep you in a slumber, keep you under. Like, we're going to give you women to lead you astray, drugs, alcohol, just to keep you down, keep you doing what we need you to do. Go to sleep, nigga. Like, I liked it. I absolutely liked it. This was just a good episode. It's not really much that I didn't like about this episode. Everybody's performance was on point. The acting was cool. My man's here in a wheelchair. I was here for him. I was like, we could have used little baby here a little bit more. I forgot how much I miss Dennis and his brothers. Like, it was good to see. He was like, I'm the only one who ain't sipped the Kool-Aid. Really? You niggas is passed out, about to be sadomasochists up in here. Y'all about to be handled by these women. Captured, so easily captured. But it's like, these are the vices that they use to corrupt our manses. Let's see. 2 episodes left, right? Yes, that's it. They gotta ramp up the writing. I ain't finna read that. There is absolutely nothing that we can do in 2 episodes that would save any of this. Like, we just gonna keep it a buck and move on. That's just what we gonna do. I love the standoff here, though. This is when we really get into Duel of the Iron Might. It's the 52 Fable Strike. I got hype. I got so hyped. This episode kind of put me back into last season when we first got to hear, the dudes rhyme. And I think they were pulling it together to get into Protect Your Neck. The way that they came together here, not only just what the liquid swords represents as far as Jizza. Like, I don't have a physical sword. There is this legend of this man returning who's going to save the people, wake up the people, and he has a sword. Like, no, my lyrics, like the rhymes, they just so smooth. They slice you up. Like, that's the sword. That's all I have to use. I have to use my mouthpiece, and he has these electric headphones, and he's breaking, shattering glass, and it's just so moving. The way that they all came out and just came together, I absolutely loved it. I love the representation of ODB here. Like, he seems satisfied. He seems content. This whole deal that you didn't want to take. I love when he said, like, I can't even remember what it was, but it was like, we'll make you not rich, but like rich adjacent. Like, you'll look lavish and look rich and look wealthy and have, all these cars, music, money, and videos, but you're not going to have no money in real life. We can make you popular. Like, no, pop is adjacent of pop. I'm not trying to do none of that. The writing on this episode was good. It was good, but it's like, yeah, you may not want it, but members like ODB, he is here and he is living his whole life. I was like, man, if we could have just really got into how ODB was living his life. Not that I wanted this whole show to surround ODB, but I wanted some more than, just Allegory. I wanted, it's okay. We're not gonna talk about what I wanted. They will probably show the Wu-Tang Forever tour in Hawaii. I don't think we're getting there. I just don't. I don't think we're getting there. Was any of that in the trailer? Did we see some legs or anything? Any of that? Is that in the trailer? I just even don't. I don't even care no more. Can we get labels part now? I love that scene. Yeah, I love the whole labels part. You mean the part with all the little fat, greedy label mates, just that representation of them not wanting, hey, we ain't sharing nothing. Get these people to sit down, conform, accept these money, accept these deals. We're not, negotiating with nobody. Let's see. They show some of it in the trailer. Yeah, I loved all of this here. I'm gonna miss this show. This would have been so cute if we had another season coming. This would have been so cute. I love that, he thanks him, like, thank you for freeing the God, like, thank you for saving me, brother. Like, of course. Even though I'm like, did you really save him? Did you really save him? But just, the thought of just kind of pulling him out of that pop or that sunken place, just, well enough to kind of sober up a bit to be a feature on his album, even though he wasn't totally far gone here too much at this moment. And we're not even going to get into him being far gone because they're not going to let us see that. But just really collecting everybody. I love when they came out and rapped. I felt like it was so on point. Once again, just like with last season, does anybody sound exactly like the artist? Absolutely not. But with the energy you bring and the flow, it works. All four of them here, it was working. It was working and it was so good. It was so good. I have a feeling there is going to be a season 4. Who said that? Like, who said that? Who said that? Who said that? That would be like really great. Don't play, with anybody's feelings and act like it's not if it is, but I have not heard a peep. They were very definite in this being the last season, but if it's not, I would not be mad at it. We go back to the projects here. This was really great. Then I was like, why everybody got a cell phone around their neck? And I was like, okay, that's, speaking on people being slaves to cell phones at this point, or just music. Like, it was a lot going on with them tying it into just that 90s era of hip hop, the past era, getting into those early 2000s, and also getting into now in the state of music. And then we tried to kind of incorporate a little gang activity. It was giving Warriors, trying to, argue over some turf, trying to claim RZA and turn him in because he's a hot commodity. He's wanted at this point. And RZA just kind of low key trying to bring peace, and not even just peace, but we continue to have that theme of the sword here being the lyrics. Like, everybody is laying people physically out with lyrics. Even in this scene when we have RZA, he just breaks down crying. He breaks down crying here, and it's just like, look at the state of, the neighborhood. I was like, well, the state of the neighborhood wasn't that great before y'all dropped the album, but all right. But it was just like, I'm trying to, pull my people out of them, show them a better way instead of what the executives want the narrative to be. If it's not a pop narrative and trying to commercialize hip hop, then you are trying to, be a culture vulture, or just trying to put out things that more so pollute the community and really uplift the trash elements. As far as what we see here, I think we saw just babies crying and people shooting up drugs and a whole lot of gun violence from what we can see, because he rained down a whole lot of bullets, just a whole lot of representations of everything negative that's going on in our community. If we allow, that to be pushed in the music, that's going to continue to happen. I'm trying to put out something else, which was great. Like, Liquid Swords is a really great album. And see, when I saw the cell phones, I was kind of confused with it. I don't do that to be great. I don't do that to be crap. I think that was really just to tie into now. There are tie-ins in general, just about saving hip hop and just about what the industry represents. What the industry represented in 95, it still represents the same thing now, just like times 10. Is even worse at this point as far as what's being prioritized and called hip hop. And just really, I think that was just tying into what we get as far as hip hop right now, just rap. Like everything is negative, hood, shoot, drugs, same thing. Like nobody's, everything's low vibrational. Nobody's really giving. We have our artists, but the majority is all low vibrational, negative hip hop. And it's nothing this. Like child, there was no jizza. We don't have any jizzas right now. The state of the neighborhood is 10 times worse these days. Yeah. Yeah, I just love this. I just love the actor here. He was really doing well. I was like, you better sell that shit, jizza. When he cried, just like looking at the community and how far, and it's just like who said that, real hip hop was dead. It's just like look what you are doing to our people. He was just so like, this is not what I want for us. This is not what I want for us. And for me to really uplift the people the way I feel like they need to be as far as what hip hop really is, I need all of my manses to come together for this album. I just love this journey. I'm just mad that we got 2 episodes left, low key. Then this is when we get into the greediness of it. I love my man's here. He was like, yo, they waking up. These chambers starting to open up. He done freed ODB. The people are waking up. He didn't, trying to unite the community. They shaking hands out there. Maybe we should negotiate with them and, share a little bit. And this just, this whole scene of the lavishness, like the gluttony here in this scene. Oh, I love this because if you listen to Jizza's album, he calls out all kind of labels, all kind of record execs. He was not, bashful about how he felt about the industry. And this was a real representation of it. Like all of y'all are greedy. Y'all only care about one thing. I loved it. I love this whole scene here. They look real nasty. They look real nasty. Oh man. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, this was nice. Like I just was like, who put up money for this episode? This episode, the production just kept going on and on. The sets kept getting, bigger and bigger. The scenery, when we did get a little CGI, it was low key clean. This is when we are, I believe, going to collect Dennis, who is off, kind of in hiding himself. And you have his brother go give him that throwback season 1 and 2 D Lover. Give him his rhyme books. That's going to wake him up. I wish that, just like I think with Master Killer, we got a moment like that with every single guy. I think Master Killer and, I think that was Raekwon. They had the best arcs in this episode as far as really waking up and getting the members back. Whereas when we got into a member like Dennis or, Method Man especially, it just didn't really hit the same. It was like, oh yeah, what's that? Okay, let me hit the switch. It just wasn't it wasn't hitting for me. And it really hit even more in this episode. Like, really, Method Man? Really? Get out my face, bro. Note to self, all the labels he mentioned, none of them no longer exist anymore. No, they don't. I think it was like them Tommy Boy ass labels. Like none of them exist. Like they got their money. They got like they use people. It was 90s. 90s was a cold time. Boy, they was taking everybody's money. Rizza said this was his time to shine. He should have shined a whole lot, but I love the rhyme book being put back into play. And you just have Dennis like, oh yeah, this is the type of shit I used to be on. I used to be out here struggling. Yeah, you were. You were really out here struggling, trying to get put on. Like when they collected together to sing, Fourth Chambers, and everybody started rapping. I was like, this shit is fire. Where the hell you been, Jizza? I'm disappointed. I loved Raekwon's arch here because Raekwon was gonna be difficult. Not only that, it's just not pertaining to hip hop or his ego, but you really get into the effects of hip hop. Like I started this with the intention to uplift, not only myself but my mother. I have spent so much time, in the studio, traveling, enjoying the fruits of my labor, dealing with these labels to the fact that I didn't even get to relish in that with my mom. And now that I want to, it's too late. And who's here for me? Like, it was very King Tut, like I'm finna die with everything. I was like, this is so good. This is so good. Even though in these moments, to me, Raekwon, he has all of a sudden in this season, Raekwon has a tendency to overact in these allegory episodes. I was like, it was kind of giving that criminology episode, but I was still moved. I was mostly here for Jizza's performance, Jonelle Young's performance in this episode, but it was just very like, I'm gonna sit here and waddle with my riches. I don't care to come and do a feature on your album, open up a chamber. I don't want to budge. Like, I just, it was, I'm just so mad. Do they show the Liquid Swords music video? No, they do not. This is a complete allegory situation. Just like they didn't show any videos in the criminology episode, they don't do that here, but it doesn't take away from this episode. This episode is still good. I see Raekwon with the infamous snow beach polo. Yeah, like the costume, the clothes in this episode are clean. I just love that. Hey, we still like put that shit on now. Let's put that shit on. It looks good. It looks absolutely good. But I just love the representation of his mother sitting there in this coffin. It's just like he was trapped in a tomb, and it was just gonna take the jaws of life to really wake him up and bring him out of that. Nothing he said in that moment could bring him out of that. Like, I just want to stay here and be in this. Like, I've allowed something so precious to me to pass me by because of this music, because of, the label. Look what this is done to me. Like, I don't think I like it. Leave me alone with my gold, my furs, my chain, my crown. I'm just going to be Ray. Ain't got to do shit else. Like, are you guys not entertained with Built for Cuban Leaks? Leave me alone. It was so good. Let's see. All we got from Method Man was shadowboxing verse and said, I'm out. Probably had to go see his girl or something. Yeah, it was so underwhelming. Oh man, it was so underwhelming. I don't even think I have even a picture of him. It was just so, and I mean, don't mistake it. His verse on Shadowbox like rocks, but as far as like the depth, I was like, it's such a shame that we could give depth to maybe even somebody like Dennis, even though it was quick, and we put that in relation to his rhyme book, but it's just something that draws back from the past to incorporate to this character now as to why he should wake up, remember why hip hop is so important. Like, it was good. And even here with Raekwon and his mother, what that represents, I remember us meeting his mother in a previous season, or even this message here, just like, regardless of how you feel about the state of hip hop, or what does it all really mean? Like, does it really, is anybody going to die if I don't drop another album? Like, no, but it matters to generations before us. Like, these, it needs to go on. They need to have something to tie themselves to as far as what hip hop really is and what it means to the culture. I love that. It was something to tie into. What do we know about Method Man that we could pull back and go, hey, Meth, remember this? Like, it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing, which is why we handed him a tape and it was like, okay. It was dun 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 dun. I was like, Ghostface Killer, Fourth Chamber 2. The when they all went into Fourth Chamber, like, it was fire. It was fire. It was so fire. It was so fire. Like, I was all the way here for that scene, as well as them going into a duel of the Iron Mics. I love both of those the most. Let's see. Did Ray Moms really die during this time? I believe so. I believe so. And I believe he was going through a state of depression at this time. And it was just like, I don't want to do anything, for myself, let alone come and pop out for your album. Like, bro, leave me alone. But it's like, I think, yeah, he was really, really down at that point. But that's what I liked about this episode, that we were able to incorporate personal things. Let me see. You saying no? That's not what I read. That's not what I read, unless they were talking about an auntie or a grandma. She died in 2021, I think. See, here y'all come in the comments confusing a nigga. She didn't die? Cause y'all know I be trying to fact check. I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go again. But we have our mans here just ready to go to war. Of course, they have banded together with our little gangs on the street who were so combative and negative and trying to go at each other. You hear them talking about, oh, I'm trying to get a deal, I'm trying to get put on, I'm willing to sacrifice anything for a deal to get put on. Yeah, that's what we're doing now. That is absolutely what we're doing now. But we just have Jizza like low key wake them up as to what's really important. We have to fight back against this industry, against these culture vultures, against what they're trying to turn hip hop into. And we have them really prepping to do that. Fourth Chamber was fire, but where was Killer Priest at? We ain't getting that. We ain't getting that. We are not getting that. I was so surprised that we even incorporated Capadonna last episode. Like we ain't getting that. We ain't getting that. We ain't getting none of RZA's other endeavors. I love how they just put it like, oh yeah, how was y'all feeling about RZA in these contacts? Because I was all delayed. I was like, something looks different about RZA's face. Something's. Oh, it's these, dark blue contacts. I was like, okay, that's a choice. It's given ethereal genius, all right. But you literally have him on a mountaintops where he has completely secluded himself, and you have Shuri like get that message to him. Get that, even though he's been up there as my brother, as you know, the state of hip hop, you guys opening up these chambers, he is going to come out of hiding just for that, even though nobody has seen him in I don't know how long. But you have him, connect everything. It was all kind of sprinkles and sunshine and glitter floating around. And then the beat dropped and I was outside. I was outside. I think I stood up for that. I think I stood up. RZA looking like fake Lord Rated from Mortal Kombat. It was. All he needed was a little hat. That's all he needed was a little hat and to do one of these numbers. How did you guys feel about Bobby's verse here? Because when Ashton Sanders gets to rapping, he's gotten better. Getting into this third season, he has gotten better, even though he sounds nothing. Oh my God. He sounds nothing like RZA. Ashton Sanders presenting himself as RZA and coming out with his verse. I feel like he's gotten better through the seasons because man, he used to piss me off with the robotic sounds. I'm like, oh my God, Mr. Krabs. It was very do 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 do. It used to piss me off every single episode. I felt like he kind of showed up here. I think so. How y'all feel about it? Because I think when he came out with his verse on was it Protection Act? I don't know what it was last season, but I was like, really? You couldn't do no better than that? I see, nah, man sounds nothing like him. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't, but just at least he gave us some swag. He was trying. He was really trying. I give him that because any other time he would have pissed me off. Wait, how you skip Shadowboxing Meth verse? Cause I just didn't. I didn't. I was here for it, but I was disappointed because I just thought that it would lead to more. We would see him beyond that scene. We would see him collectively on this battlefield with everybody else, kind of going to war with the sense of these labels and these execs and, the little, the foot soldiers that they have trying to take them down and, what they're trying to do. It just, nothing that Meth does at this point holds any weight for me. And as much as I love his verse on Shadowboxing is one of his best, I just was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. I love the little arc that we have with Raekwon and his mother and just what music means for him at that moment as to why he would just want to be locked away and not be bothered with anybody, let alone anybody's Wu-Tang. I love the representation. Even though it was quick, we had a callback with Dennis and, his book, his brother being there in the wheelchair. Like, it was just some depth and some history there for those characters. Even when we got into Master Killer, I don't know what was up with the daughter and the Saki. I was like, did he have a daughter? Because I looked it up. It was like he only had two sons. But everything doesn't have to match reality completely. But even just giving some depth there, even getting into ODB, and clearly him being in a dungeon child with them women doing nefarious things. Like they keeping you down, bro. Just with the alcohol, the drugs, and the women. With math, it was just like shadowboxing. I just didn't care. I didn't care. I wanted some more with that. Even with, you God, even though he's not on the conquest, we have him with Shuri with that time crunch. Like we will be locked away forever. We have sacrificed, locked ourselves in this vault to really, hoping that somebody here is pretty much our cries for help. And, me rhyming, be able to decode what I'm trying to say and really unlock these chambers so we can set our people free low key and get them from under these thumbs. I was even here for that. There was nothing for Method Man. It just didn't move me. I literally, I think I ended the episode and then I just went to listen to Shadowboxing and I went to look at the music video on YouTube. That's all that made me go do. That's all that made me go do. Let's see. I wish Inspector Deck was on Force Chamber. That would have been fire. That would have been fire. Even with, Inspector Deck's character, I didn't have to you really desire too much more for him because he was on the journey with them the entire time. Just the incorporation of Method Man overall has just been tired. It's like there's the group and then there's Method Man over there. And I'm like low-key sick of that. Duel of the Iron Might. It's the 52 Fable Strike. I was outside. Fire review so far. I'm trying. Like y'all don't know. I was like, do I have to talk about Wu-Tang still? Have I committed myself now? Because it was the once I realized like the show wasn't going to be what I hoped it to be. I was going to be trash and just let it go. But you have them collectively open up these chambers, everything, everybody came together, collaborated, did what needed to be done. And you just have this gratification coming over Jizza like, we did that shit. Like, yes. I love them overlooking the city. Even when we got into all of these different continents and places being put together. And once we got to this scene and I saw the headband that Jizza had on with the little encrusted jewels, I was like, I've seen that somewhere. Then when he goes like, well, whatever, you can affect me with your music like you've affected, woken up the others as well as, not even just in your group, but the community being woken up by your music. I have these headphones. Just like, no, I don't need these headphones. Nigga, I brought a sword. I was like, that was so fire. Then we transition into the album cover. Bars. That was so good. Man, just like you trash for not being outside for this series because that was so good. That was so good. I thought that was just a bomb transition. Like, why we couldn't do this for everything? Like this was good. I felt like if he was able to do this with this allegory, if he had really been 10 toes down with the show, especially when we were based in reality as far as directing, to just go, you know what? It wasn't really going down like that on a tour bus. This is what was really happening. Like, I just felt like he should have really been here, especially with this being the last season, because that transition was on point. I think that was my favorite part of the episode because I saw it. I didn't know how they were going to do it, but we just literally transitioned from, the fantasy into this whole album cover. That was nice. That was absolutely so nice. Let's see. I wish they did a music video for Duel of the Iron Mike. Yeah, a lot of these songs could have used a music video. Oh, let me not stop here because the album is fire. He is so proud of himself. Like, I think from what Jizza said, he was more proud of this album than he was of Only Built for Cuban Links, just because he felt like they got back to, as well as Jizza, like we got back to our roots of maybe like enter into the Wu, the 36 chambers. We are, this is where we need to be, like this purebred, just hip hop, all of us at our peak, at our best with our rhymes. I felt like he thought the execution of his beats on Jesus' album was, maybe his favorite. He just loved it. I'm feeling myself. I'm doing good. I'm ready to work. Y'all trying to let on something? No. I'm not trying to lay down a thing. Let's see. I want to know who did that album cover. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the name, but it's somebody who does comic books for a living. He does comic books and he did this as well as some other stuff. I cannot remember the man's name though. I can't for the life of me. But yeah, he is just like feeling really replenished. You hear that, he's been with the monks and he's been, spiritually awakened. I was like, we're not even going to talk about his other endeavors and other people that he was trying to sign, groups, grave. You know what? Never mind. Because I'm gonna upset myself. But he's just been on this journey to really just put out the best and do the best work that he can. And he feels like this is such a success. This album is successful, and we didn't really have to compromise all that much of ourselves as far as trying to appeal to a pop or a different audience or trying to get radio play. We are getting that regardless. And this is all pure Wu-Tang. Like, yeah, we getting back to the day one-ish. Nobody want to show up. Absolutely nobody wants to show up. I see. I wonder if they are going to mention Ghost Brothers dying next episode. Oh Lord, I don't know. I'm gonna take that comment down. I hope not. I hope not. How did you guys feel about everybody just kind of leaving Bobby out here to dry? Like, yeah, everybody has their own different separate, even Divine, like, even though we don't really need Divine for that, it's like, you know what, hey, I have to get to my woman. I already missed the whole birthday party up in here about to hyperventilate and have a heart attack trying to get these dudes to sign. I can't stand them up no more. I'm going home. But since you're thinking that everybody's just waiting around here to jump on the album, you need to run these messages back. It's just like, I can't make it. I'm, doing the Fiendin' remix with Jodeci. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go listen to that right now. I completely forgot about them doing a remix for Fiendin'. Like, I was like, they didn't do that. I'm finna go run that back. Then you get into Method Man. He's like, I'm working on some crazy ish with Redman. I'm not gonna be able to make it. Everybody has their own individual reasons as to why we can't make it for this album. Like, and he's like, well, I could have stayed where the hell I was. I could have stayed in LA. Y'all wasn't ready to work. Rizza's fake hairstyle is killing me. I'm tired of the Tyler Perry wigs. Hey, man. Let it go. It is what it is. I have like ended my bouts with the best they ever did is when he had kind of the wild braids and he had the bandana on to cover up like the inseam of the wig. Outside of that, it ain't gonna never do what we needed to do. Them sideburns ain't sideburning either. But it's okay. It's okay. We are almost at the end of the road with this show. He had an afro cornrows at the same time. Yeah, how did you guys feel about nobody being able to show up? It really puts things into perspective as to what people see is important right now. But even with that, I'm like, what exactly did you expect to happen, Rizza? Like, you didn't put everybody under the same level. You wanted so badly to kind of take over everywhere. I need you at this label and Elektra and Def Jam, and you're going to stay here with us on Loud Records and da 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 da. Instead of collectively having everybody sign with you guys, everybody's at liberty to make their own decisions whenever they feel like it. You thought they were just going to be waiting around just to drop music whenever you felt like it? Not with these Air Max cars in our pockets. No. It's not happening. Divine's girl probably put him on the couch that night when he missed the baby's birthday party. Man, the couch. No, get you some boxes, pack your stuff, and get up out of here. Cause the way you had me waiting, ain't gonna send old girl to get $1,000 worth of everything. Cause you don't even know what our baby likes. Sit down. Also, Method Man was on the Vibin' remix with Boyz II Men, Craig Mack, Treach, and Busta Rhymes. Let's see. I wish they show You God, Dirty and Meth doing the Anything remix with SWV. Yeah, I was hoping they would mention this in the episode with him being with Rizza being so worried about the group or just the members in general gravitating more towards, remixes and incorporating that R&B. Even though we love it, somebody like Genius, who is just like pure hip hop, like we have to keep it. This is commercializing. It's making it adaptable for other audience. Like I'm not trying to do that. Like we hood, we gotta represent. If not us, then who? Like come outside. But they didn't mention it. And Raekwon did a joint with a singer named Davina. I forgot the name of the song. I gotta find it. Yeah, I just don't know what Riz expected here. From what we can see, like he's low key fuming. The nostrils was going out. Like really, y'all finna leave me hanging. I don't think that they really thought out the plan. They were too busy worried about like Wu domination as far as labels in the industry instead of thinking about what would work long term for the group, because everybody has their own deal, own individual albums, and then we have our own, own money, own managers, own. But it's like if I say you guys need to come back and we need to work on some music right now, even though it's profitable and they perform the best, especially a lot of them who don't really have it to go solo or really sell a solo album like that. But a lot of them did. We ain't at your beck and call, bro. Like we got stuff to do. I kind of felt a little bad for him because he was so hyped. Like, oh man, I'm finna work on it. Like, yeah, we ain't coming. But oh man, let me come on out of this. Do you guys have any predictions for the last 2 episodes of the show? I am predicting that I am not going to be satisfied with anything. I feel like Triumph's going to come on and we're going to see them working on the album and I'm going to be feeling it, but I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care because I'm always going to be like, I want it more. Can we get another season? This is how we going to end it? Really, that's it? I feel like I'm going to be like, that's it. But I think Erica Alexander, Maxine Shaw, attorney at law, is in next episode. I'm always looking forward to her because it's Maxine and I love her. Oh, let's see. They better do Iron Man. I really didn't think that they were going to do Iron Man. I think this is the last Allegory episode of. I think even though it's a Ghostface episode, is it surrounding his album? If it is, man, I'll tell you, I'm gonna be mad. We don't have time for that. We do not have time to. I think it's gonna be. I thought it was just gonna be like an honorable mention situation. Like, yeah, we're working on Iron Man. All that I got is you. It was gonna move on. I thought that was gonna be it. I just probably a time jump. We gonna time jump into. My mouth is dry. I'm gonna go drink me some champagne because look at all these crab ass niggas. I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad with this show. Like, this show like really low key started out so promising, and I remember watching season 1, and I was like, why are we wasting time? When are we gonna get to the albums? Like they built it up so much for us to get to this point. Just to drop the ball, because season 1 was just trying to get these guys together and really getting into their daily lives, what they were doing before they got into music, before they got put on. Like it was really good, but I was just like, when we gonna get to the music? I can't wait to get to those albums. When Raekwon and Ghost gonna, when they gonna get together and be friends? I was just so eager to just get here and like be really disappointed. I'm really disappointed, even though this episode was good. I'm still like, that's it. Also, next episode is also going to talk about RZA trying to find a new sound for Wu-Tang new album. Yeah, I read it. Nothing I read in the synopsis for the last 2 episodes just had me like, okay, I'm here for that. I was like, cool. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna talk about it. I really hope that it's like really good, and then I can get on here and be like, y'all, I was talking shit, but that episode slapped. Like, oh my god! Like, I'm hoping, but I don't want to get my hopes up too high because I did that with this season overall, and look what happened. But you guys, I am gonna go drink me some wine. I have hella reviews coming out next week. We got stuff to talk about. This was supposed to happen yesterday, but this got put on the back burner so I could talk about Swarm. Cause y'all know these videos, nobody watches this. This don't bring in the views. I was like, I gotta talk about Swarm, and I have to talk about, as we see here, R.I.P. Uncle Jerome. Had to make sure I got that Snowfall review in here, but I didn't want to leave this show hanging since I already started it. Let's see, we need one or two more seasons. We just got the music and the celebrity of it all. Yeah, at least one. At least one. I literally thought, oh, because I watch TV all the time. I watch shows all the time for this. I'm like, oh, this is a 4-season type of show. I just knew that we would at least get 4 seasons, and I thought anything beyond that would be just pushing it. But hell, I don't know at this point. We've been in 95 this whole season. Like, what was gonna happen? Like, yeah, this season we in 96, son. Like, how long we gonna stay here? Oh, let's see. If they plan not time jumping, they might as well throw in Inspector Deck, You God, Capadonna's album era. We ain't getting there. We ain't getting there, especially with those albums not really popping off. We are, what y'all thought y'all wasn't gonna see me. I'm the Osiris of this shit. Wu-Tang is here forever. I'm telling y'all, that's what's gonna happen. Then it's gonna go off. I said it here first. we just gonna go up. Like, we're gonna probably, maybe it'd be cool if they incorporated the Prime Video, but I think that's it. I don't think we're gonna get too much into that. At least let him do Poisonous Darts. Y'all want too much. Y'all want too much. I don't even why they even just to throw Capadonna in there. Like, are we gonna? We're not gonna do anything with Capadonna. We're not. It's just like, hey, oh, Capadonna, is Swarm a good show or nah? I thought it was. I enjoyed it. If you like horror, if you like something like Psycho, Patrick Bateman, American Psycho type situation, a Jeffrey Dahmer type situation, Atlanta show in general, you'll like Swarm. I liked it. Check out my review for Swarm, y'all. Deck album came out in 99. Yeah, like, are we're gonna jump? I don't care. I don't even care. This ain't Joey Badass 95 to infinity. I love that song too. But y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I have some champagne in the refrigerator that is just calling my name. Like, it's on chill. I'm feeling real spicy, son. You know what I mean? But I will be back here next week. Please be on the lookout for all the reviews that I have coming out. Child, I ain't even got my outro set up. I was just tired. Y'all know what it is. It's a struggle over here. Let's see. Probably at the end of episode 10, they will do a montage of the Wu-Tang members in later years and talk about ODB. I'm gonna take that off. I don't want that either. I don't want that either. Sorry, I'm not big on horror. Stay away from the show then. It's very it's like a lot of meta and some humor also, but it's like a dark comedy horror situation. Serial killer vibe. So if that's not you, don't watch it. Oh man. But y'all, I am going to get out of here. Swan was good and funny. Yes, it was. Thank you guys so much for being here. Pop in for the next episode, like on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, like on the next episode of Wu-Tang. Let's just hope it's good and we send off our guys on a positive note. I see you guys next time. Bye.